But mom, we're having fun, Ai protested. We going home, Benita repeated, dragging him towards the apartment. She refused to let Joshua explain or talk to either of them back in their apartment as she looked up at his mom with worried eyes. Mom, is everything okay? He asked softly. Ben-eyed and tried to calm herself. It's none of your business, Ari, she snapped, and stay away from Joshua. Music. Benita was a beautiful lady who works in a big company in the bustling city of Lagos. She lived alone in a comfortable apartment that overlooked the busy street below. Every morning Benita woke up early, ready to take on the day with energy and enthusiasm. She worked diligently as a manager in the big company, giving her all to her job. Her colleagues admired her dedication and hard-working spirit. In her late 20s, Ben's life took a wonderful turn when she had a son named Ai. Ai was a bright and beautiful young boy who brought immense joy to Ben's life. At just 8 years old, he was full of energy and curiosity. Ai loved watching cartoons, and every Saturday morning he would sit in the living room, eyes glued to the screen, laughing at the funny characters and their adventures. Playing football was another of his favorite activities. Archie and his friends would gather at the nearby park, kicking the ball around and pretending to be their favorite football stars. Benita and made sure that Ai attended the best school in the city. She wanted him to have the best education possible. Every day after work, Benita would drive to his school to pick him up. She didn't want to employ a nanny for Ai because she believed that spending time with him and being involved in his life was the most important thing she could do. She took full responsibility for him, ensuring that he always felt loved and cared for. In the evenings after a long day at work, Benita and Ai would spend quality time together. They loved each other so much and cherished every moment they spent as a family. Benita would help Ari with his homework patiently, explaining the answers to his many questions. Mom, why is the sky blue? Ari would ask, his eyes wide with curiosity. Benita would smile and say, the sky looks blue because of the way the sunlight interact with the earth atmosphere. Isn't that amazing? Ai would nod, fascinated by her explanation. He loved learning new things and Benita enjoyed teaching him. She made sure that he ate healthy meals, cooking delicious and nutritious food that he loved. She often prepared his favorite dishes like jello, fries with grilled chicken and a side of steamed vegetables. Mom, this is the best jollof fries ever, Ai would exclaim, his mouth full of food. Thank you, Ai, Benita would reply, her heart swelling with pride. I'm glad you like it. Benita also taught Aki how to be a good child. She encouraged him to be kind and respectful to others, to always tell the truth and to be responsible. She would often say, Ai, remember to always be kind, treat others the way you want to be treated. Ai listened to his mom, carefully taking her advice to heart. He was a confident and curious child, always eager to learn and explore. He did well at school, earned good grades and making his mom proud. One evening as they sat together in the living room, Archie looked up at his mom and asked, Mom, can you tell me a story before bed? Benita smiled and nodded. Of course, Ai, what kind of story would you like to hear? A story about a brave knight, Ai said, his eyes shining with excitement. Benita began to tell him a story about a brave knight who went on a grand adventure to save a kingdom. He listened intently, his imagination painting vivid pictures in his mind. And the knight fought the dragon bravely, Benita said, her voice filled with excitement, and saved the kingdom from danger. Wow, Mom, that was a great story, Ai said, clapping his hands. I'm glad you liked it, Ari, Peter replied, giving him a warm hug. Now it's time for bed. Ai brushed his teeth and got into his pajamas. Benita tutored him into bed, planting a gentle kiss on his forehead. Good night, my little knight, she whispered. Good night, Mom, Ai replied, closing his eyes with a smile on his face. As Benita watched her son drift up to sleep, she felt a deep sense of happiness and fulfillment. Ai was AW and she was determined to give him the best life possible. She knew that the love and care she poured into raising him would help him grow into a kind and responsible person. The next morning the routine began again. Benita woke up early and prepared breakfast and got Ai ready for school. Mom, can I have pancakes today? Ai asked, his eyes lighting up at the thought. Sure, Ai, Bitter replied with a smile. She quickly whipped up a bed of fluffy pancakes, serving them with syrup and fresh fruit. These are delicious, Mom, Ai exclaimed as he dug into his breakfast. I'm glad you like them, Benita said, watching him eat with joy. After breakfast they headed out the door. Benita dropped Ai off at school, giving him a big hug before he ran off to join his friends. Have a great There at school, Ari, she called after him. "I will, Mom," Ai shouted back, waving as he disappeared into the building. At work, Benita remained focused and efficient. She handled meetings, managed projects, and ensured that everything ran smoothly. Her colleagues often came to her for advice and guidance, knowing that she was always willing to help. In the afternoon, Benita would pick Ai up from school. They would talk about their day during their drive home. "Mom, guess what we learned in school today?" Ai would say excitedly. "What did you learn, Ai?" Benita would ask, eager to hear about his day. "We learned about space and the planet. Did you know that Jupiter is the biggest planet in our solar system?" Ai would say, his face beaming with excitement. "That's amazing, Ai," Benita would reply, impressed by his knowledge. "You are learning so much." Once they got home, they would spend time together. Sometimes they played board games, other times they watched cartoons or read books. Benita cherished those moments, knowing that they were creating precious memories. As time went by, a man named Joshua moved into the same estate where Benita and Ai lived. He rented the apartment next door to them. Joshua was a tall man with a kind smile and friendly eyes. One sunny afternoon, he decided to introduce himself to his new neighbors. He knocked on Ben's door, and when she opened it, he greeted her warmly. "Hello. I'm Joshua. I just moved in next door and wanted to say hi," he said, smiling. Benita returned his smile. "Hi Joshua, I'm Benita and this is my son Ai," she replied, gesturing to Ai, who was peeing from behind her leg. Ai stepped forward, looking up at Joshua with wide eyes. "Hi Mr. Joshua," he said excitedly. "Hi there Ai," Joshua replied, bending down to be at Ei level with the boy. "It's nice to meet you." Ai was thrilled to meet Joshua. After a few more polite words, Joshua waved goodbye and headed back to his apartment. As soon as he left, Ai turned to his mom with a big grin. "Mom, I like Mr. Joshua. You should marry him," Ai said earnestly. Benita couldn't help but laugh. "Oh Ai, it doesn't work like that," she said, ruffling his hair. "Don't worry about adult matters, just focus on your studies, okay?" Ai nodded, though he was still smiling at the idea. Over the next few days, Ai and Joshua began to see more of each other. Whenever Joshua was outside, Ai would run up to him, eager to chat or play. Jo was always kind and patient with him, answering his many questions and sometimes even play football with him in the small yard. "Hey Ai, ready to play some football?" Joshua would call out, holding a soccer ball. "Yes Mr. Joshua, let's play," Ari would shout back, running over with excitement. Joshua would show Ai new tricks and techniques, teaching him how to kick the ball with precision and control. They would laugh and cheer as they played, and it didn't take long for Ai to start looking forward to their sessions. One day, Joshua offered to help Ai with his homework. Benita was initially hesitant, but she saw how much Ai liked Joshua and decided to give it a try. "Mom, can Mr. Joshua help me with my math homework?" Io asked, holding his math book. Benita glanced at Joshua, who nodded with a smile. "Sure, if Mr. Joshua doesn't mind," she said. "I'll be happy to help," Joe replied. "Let's see what you're working on, Ai." They sat at the kitchen table and Joe patiently explained the math problems to Ai. He used simple terms and made sure Ai understood each step. Ai was thrilled to have someone to help him, and he started doing better in his studies. "Wow, Mr. Joshua, you make M so fun," Ai said, grinning. "I'm glad you think so, Ai," Joshua replied. "Learning can be fun if you understand it." Joshua also bought a small gift from time to time. He brought him a new football, some comic books, and even a puzzle set. Each time Ai was delighted and thanked Joshua enthusiastically. "Thank you, Mr. Joshua, this is the best gift ever," I would exclaim, hugging his new toy. At first, Ben wasn't entirely comfortable with the amount of time Joshua and Ai were spending together. She worried about the influence Joshua might have on her son, but as she observed them more, she saw how genuinely kind and caring Joshua was towards Ai. She started to relax and allow their bond to grow. One evening, Joshua shared a bit about his life with Benita. They sat on her porch enjoying the cool evening breeze. "I used to live abroad," Joshua said. "I recently returned to focus on my company here in Lagos." "What kind of business do you run?" Benita asked, curious. "I have a tech company. We develop software solutions for businesses," Joshua exclaimed. "It's challenging but rewarding work." Benita nodded. "That sounds impressive. It must be nice to be back home." "It is," Joshua agreed. "I miss the warmth and the sense of community here." As they talked, Benita realized how easy it was to open up to Joshua. He was a good listener, and she found herself enjoying their conversations. They began to spend more time together, often sharing. Miss Joshua, would you like to join us for dinner tonight? Ben asked one evening. I would love to, Joshua replied, smiling. Over dinner they laughed and shared stories. Ai loved having Joshua around and often chimed in with his own tales from school. Mr. Joshua, guess what happened at school today? Ai would start launching into an animated recount of his day. Benita became more comfortable with Joshua being a part of their lives. Sometimes Ai would stay at Joshua's place, playing games or watching movies on night. When Ai fell asleep at Joshua's apartment, Joshua would gently carry him back to Ben's place. Thank you, Joshua, Benita would say, and she tucked Ed into bed. He really enjoyed spending time with you. It's my pleasure, Joshua would reply. Ai is a great kid. One weekend Joshua suggested they all go to the beach. Ai was thrilled at the idea. Mom, can we please go to the beach with Mr. Joshua? Ai begged, his eyes sparkling with excitement. All right, we can go, Benita agreed, smiling at her son's enthusiasm. At the beach they had a wonderful time. They built sandcastles, played in the water and enjoyed a picnic. Ai's laughter filled the air as he and Joshua splashed around in the waves. Look, Mom, we made the biggest sandcastle ever, Ai shouted, showing off their creation. It's amazing, Ai, Benita replied, taking a picture of her son and Joshua with the sandcastle. The day at the beach brought them even closer together. Benita saw how much joy Joshua brought into Ed's life and appreciated his presence more and more. In the following weeks their bond continued to grow. Joshua often came over for meals and they shared many more happy moments together. Benita felt grateful for the positive influence Joshua had on Ai. She knew that their little family had been blessed with a wonderful friend and neighbor in Joshua. As they sat together one evening, Ai looked at Joshua and said, Mr. Joshua, you're like a father to me. Joshua smiled warmly. And you're like a son to me, Ai. Ben's heart swelled with happiness. She knew that with Joshua's friendship and support their lives were richer and